So let's try this again. The show I did earlier, it was having trouble with the signal, but the signal looks pretty strong, so let's do it. This show has to be relatively fast because I have a show with a guest coming up at 3 p.m. I saw this, and when I saw this, ever-vigilant Sam Seder and his work wife. His work wife, Michael Brooks, is feeling insecure in this one, is in a leather jacket, Brooks, with a ball cap going behind his head. I want you to see something about this video. First, this video is a magnificent straw man, and it's to the point where it looks like they're trying whatever they can just to make a video on Dore. Whether that's because Sam Seder works for MSNBC and there's this kind of tether to the Democratic Party, and they think that Dore is just kind of, this way of undermining Dore in a political sense or not liking the message. Or whether it's Sam Seder likes the clicks, realizing that doing shows on Jimmy Dore gets him a lot of clicks while at the same token gets him a lot of downvotes, but who cares about the downvotes if somebody is still clicking? Whatever his motivation, whatever his reasons, they tend to do these videos on Dore, and they tend to look like at the bottom of the barrel to find anything that they can find to just go after. There's something I want you to see in this video, though. It's a fascinating video where they strawman Dore, dropping the context, like dropping of what he's actually saying, just for, meaning they miss his point. They fundamentally miss his point. Either they're doing it intentionally or they're not as bright as they think they are, but they're just missing this point. I suspect it's more they're doing it intentionally. Take a look at this video for the moment, and like I said, I'm going to go through it faster than what I would typically go through the videos. I was proud to put my downvoter on this video. I don't usually waste my time watching my majority reports. Sham sheepherder. But look at Brooks here. Brooks is butched up. Like nobody's... He's butched up. I like that. He's butched up. Look at this. He's wearing a ball cap. I didn't know Brooks tried to have style. Brooks tried to have fashion sense. The reality of it is, Sam Seder, one concentration camp less Sam Seder, has a contract with MSNBC. That Sam Seder, with a contract with MSNBC, was essentially a Democratic talking propaganda engine, employs his work wife, Michael Brooks, and apparently these other lackeys have joined in. What does this look like? This is Jimmy Dore's set. They've appropriated Jimmy Dore's look, meaning the way he would do his live shows. He even has a panel similar to the way Jimmy Dore has a panel. They even have a woman over there in the same way Jimmy Dore has a woman as panel. They have appropriated Jimmy Dore's show to some instance. Am I wrong on this? Am I crazy on this? This is Jimmy Dore's setup that they've essentially just taken as their own and pretended as if, hey, nothing to see here, folks, while simultaneously attacking Jimmy Dore. Well, they say imitation is the best form of flattery, so regardless of the attacking of Jimmy Dore, at the end of the day, the imitation is flattering. Let's take a quick look at this video. I'm going to start it here, and I'm going to show Jimmy Dore's part. It's a relatively quick video, so we can go through it pretty quickly.
Yeah, you run for Congress. There's 435 of them. Is that what it is? You would know that.
Wait, Michael Brooks doesn't know that there are 435 members of Congress? Are you serious? You cover How do you cover politics in the United States and not know how many people or representatives are in Congress? Now, they're Jimmy Dore on something about Syria, while Michael Brooks sits here and don't even know how many of people are in the congressional body. How many years have these guys looked at American politics? And in all of that time, during all of those years, Michael Brooks never looked up how many members of Congress, and apparently was never curious enough to check. Good to know. Good to know.
452, whatever, somewhere around there. I can't remember off the top of my head. And, there's so many I can barely.
Sam Seder, in this case, feigns dumb because he wants to help his work wife not look as dumb as his work wife appears, not knowing how many members of Congress there are. Let's keep going.
I really remember the specific number. So if you run for Congress, the threshold, but if you're running for president and you belong to a hate group, or you speak in front of a hate group, and there's a little bit of cult in your background, and maybe your foreground, I start to get a little nervous. Like, I don't want anybody from the fellowship to be in the presidency either, right? And so, but there's other people who have different opinions, and because
some people who oppose fucking war.
Right. I have some issues with her.
This clip is rich.
All right, well, let's just play this because this is really part of our core brand proposition, too. I give you Jimmy Dore upon the announcement of Tulsi Gabbard.
Have you seen the Intercept and the Humanist Report coverage of Tulsi? I love Tulsi, but if you read these pieces, you will learn some uncomfortable truth that true lefty indie and journalists have pointed out. Looking forward to it, Lorraine. We're all about reading about Tulsi and learning more about her. Because Tulsi identifies Hindu, I need to hear from her about her stance on Modi fascism, Islamophobia, imperialism in Kashmir, and whether she agrees morally with the caste system that is incredibly sexist against women. Thanks for the donation. I don't have any answers.
I can tell you one thing.
By the way, I want to hear Tulsi talk about those things too. I've said before, I am biased on Tulsi. I like her. But there's some stuff that is troubling, man. But nevertheless, I want to hear it from her. I want to hear her have these conversations. I want to hear the questions put to her in somewhat of an overt way, not this reading stuff purely about her, because the fact of the matter is I've read some stuff on her. I've heard her response to the homophobic thing. The Modi stuff is pretty detestable. But I want to hear from her. I want to hear her explanation on these things. Let's finish this clip. So I guess my point is, the person who asked that question, the question is perfectly fine. I like the question. The question should be asked. Let's keep going.
If there's one thing I couldn't care less about, it's what's happening in India. Is that wrong of me to not care? I mean, how does that affect me? Yeah, there's lots of bad governments all around the world. Why should I give a shit about another one? I don't understand. Right? Isn't that like saying, like, hey, Assad's not a good guy, and so we should have troops there? I don't understand. None of them are good guys. Look what fucking Israel's doing to medics on their border. That's our ally. Turkey's our ally. Look what we're doing in Yemen with our ally Saudi Arabia. I mean, so this idea of somehow the people in they got her because she likes a guy, and we're in fucking bed with Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, no.
Well, that's just ridiculous. So you're going to have a different litmus test now for her than you have for every other fucking president, including Barack Obama?
So why do you oppose all those other governments, fucking moron?
Why do you care what happens in Yemen?
Hold on one second.
Immoral.
I just want to make
As it is
sure
stupid.
that's not their version of their parody show, right?
I would never say anything that fucking stupid.
We just couldn't change the logo.
I want to make they never engage his point, though. This video is 7 minutes long, and the entirety of this video is this stuff. Like, their point is Jimmy Dore doesn't care about the people in other countries. I mean, that's basically what the point is. Let's let them keep going. I want them to make the point. I mean, it's a quick video.
The issue is not that she's Hindu. Like, I don't think she deserves any specific extra scrutiny but it's what she has done and her affiliation.
You cannot trust the Hare Krishnas. They're at the airport. They'll try to kidnap you.
But aside from that, I don't know really how to respond to something like that, where you just, the desire for Tulsi Gabbard to be somebody that she's not is extremely intense. And
Well, she does go surfing. That makes you a progressive.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
It's 3 o'clock.
I want to talk about your view of a first principled. It's like it's 2:45. Put down the phone, Sam. Let your people
Drop.
I just, to actually articulate those words, like, I'm surprised he didn't say, I don't give a fuck about what's going on in India, and I don't wake up in the morning and turn to the India section of the paper.
I do.
But I know you do. But this is pretty stunning stuff. And I think, this is, I think an example of what concern that we've had for a long time at our show and why we spend so much time sort of policing, frankly, Jimmy's show. I don't think it's terribly effective. That video will get 150,000 views, and there'll be a lot of people out there who, Jimmy Reefer Cake will send in about.
How many people think we should ban Jimmy Reefer? Oh, that's not as overwhelming as you. How many people don't think we should ban him? Oh,
Again, there's the 90% in the middle of everything.
yes.
That just are like, whatever, just
You can clap.
exactly.
He's also a guy who's done a million videos on Syria, and a couple weeks ago it was just like Rojava with the Kurds. I didn't fucking know that. He literally didn't know about the Kurdish areas. Anyways,
He's not a leftist.
he's not a leftist.
Now, nobody in their right mind, he's making three things. He's not a leftist! I love the way the woman just screams, he's not a leftist! It's like their version of Anna. Nobody being honest will come away with saying Jimmy Dore is not a lefty. Like, you lose a certain degree of legitimacy when you just lie like that to your audience. That's the first point. And they're lying, knowing they're lying to their audience as they say that. Sam Seder, their boss, had to say, well, wait a minute, I think he trends left, because he realizes that you loses a complete degree of legitimacy if you're going to lie in such a brazen way. That's the first point. The second point on this, do they honestly believe that Jimmy Dore saying, I don't give a fuck what takes place in India, really does mean that he doesn't care about the human beings that are in India? His point, and the point that they fundamentally miss, even going with the bringing up the thing of Syria, is that we spend nearly $1 trillion killing and maiming other people in various countries around the world with our military apparatus, essentially the boot of the U.S. government. And they use nearly $1 trillion of our tax dollars to do it. We could cut the military budget in half and still be twice as much as any other country around the world, or twice as much as our biggest competitor, China, in this sense. It is time to stop fucking around in other countries. That's his point. His point is not that he doesn't care about the individuals who are in those countries. His point is that we need to start investing resources and attention back into the United States, not into the countries abroad where we've been going into these military affairs. They also kind of miss the point that he's making. That's somewhat of a straightforward point. Nobody cared about this. This got little to no media attention. Let's flip this.
At his invitation, you came as chief guest. A lot, President Obama, has been written and said about your friendship with Narendra Modi. At his invitation, you came as chief guest. You were the first American president to come as chief guest on Republic Day. You did a joint radio broadcast together. And frequently, Prime Minister Modi used to refer to you as my friend Barack. What's your opinion of Narendra Modi?
I like him, and I think that he is. I think I think that he has a vision for the country that he is implementing and is in many ways modernizing certain elements of the bureaucracy that I think are very important.
Nobody cared about Obama backing Modi in this way. Just like Sam Seder didn't care that Hillary Clinton was backing Modi in this way. He thought it was perfectly okay to vote for Hillary Clinton. She gave Modi a full-throated endorsement. This is Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton welcoming Modi as they come to the United States. Look, my point here is rather basic and straightforward. When Jimmy Dore is making this case, his case is they're intentionally missing the context. Being sick and tired of spending huge amount of time and attention with what in many cases boiled down to bashing and attacking other governments. With this idea of we don't talk to terrorists or we don't talk to governments that have hateful leaders or leaders that are pursuing somewhat of a vengeful course, while simultaneously being friends and associates with countries like Israel and Saudi Arabia that are either might as well totalitarian state or religious maniacs. And in another case, you can say similar things. They're missing this point. They are going to the bottom of the barrel to find anything that they can to come up content just to attack Dore. And some of the stuff just gets sad. Michael Brooks wearing a leather jacket is the funniest thing I've ever seen, however, and I love it. Let's go back to this. With the hat behind his back. I suppose he's feeling like his masculinity has been questioned and he needs to butch up. But fair enough. The butched up Michael Brooks, I like. I'm not going to keep this one long because I have a guest coming at 3 p.m. And so I will see you guys in like 10 minutes. If you enjoy the content, please feel free to share, like, subscribe. You can always support through PayPal or Patreon. Oh, the scene has been flipped. You like my guest at 3 p.m. I can almost promise it. Jimmy Reefer Cake. They were talking about you, dude. They were talking about you. I love it. You say that, like, the establishment support is a good thing. They also supported Clinton despite her lead. Yeah. Clinton, what? She changed her stance on LGBTQ, on gay marriage, what, in like 2015? So yeah. And by the way, there's a certain degree of honesty that needs to be associated with this. I mean, come on. Even if you disagree with Dore, making a clip where you completely drop the context of what he's saying, when I'm pretty sure Seder is smart enough to know what he's saying. And what he's saying is not necessarily that it doesn't care about the individuals who are there. That's not what he's saying. So I'll end this here, and I will see you guys in about 10 minutes. Thanks so. See you soon.